let's go, let's go.
A few months ago, Six Flags dropped an insane announcement by unveiling their 2026 plans, which also included multiple new roller coasters across their chain. It wasn't just that though, some of these coasters were record breakers. And of the list of new additions, the one that got me the most hype is of course the one coming to my home park, Six Flags Over Texas. For being the first ever Six Flags park, it's been a drought for a major new thrill ride. And even with the whole new water coaster that got delayed for 3 years, we needed bigger. Soon enough, all our wants have finally been answered, and in 2026, Over Texas is receiving a record-breaking dive coaster, which is also believed to be the first ever Giga Dive. 2026 may be a while from now, but it doesn't mean things aren't happening. In fact, the road to this major new ride coming to Over Texas is already beginning, and in today's video we're covering all the updates you need to know about this exciting new thrill ride. Before we get started though, if you're new here, welcome to the channel for all those thrill seekers. On JB Thrills, we make all sorts of content related to theme parks and thrill rides no matter where they're located. And if you're specifically a Texas enthusiast, this is also your #1 source of news for all Texas theme parks. So if that interests you, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so when new videos come out on my channel. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. As the year reaches its end and we approach a brand new season, we may not be getting a new ride for 2025, but many tend to forget that progress will be moving rapidly in this upcoming year, as this coaster is no small feat. Like any major project, this takes time, and the best part about hearing of a new ride is waiting for all the information to come together. This can range from unveiling the ride layout, the ride's theme, or etc. The important thing is that it starts with little pieces, and we will cover every single step of the way until the coaster opens in 2026. But on to what's currently happening at the park. Let's do a little bit of a refresher of what exactly started as the first few hints of this new coaster. At the beginning of a holiday in the park in November, the span area was looking a little bit different, with a huge new fence covering the entirety of the back of the area, completely closing off La Vibra, the family's bobsled coaster, and El Diablo, the park's Larson Loop. It remained this way for a few weeks, but now in present time, work is now beginning for this new coaster, and for those few La Vibra fans, this may hurt to see. La Vibra is now in pieces. What used to be the first grand coaster you see walking in with the iconic red, black, and yellow turnaround sticking out is now just supports and minimal pieces of the coaster. As I was looking around, I noticed that about 80% of this coaster is now gone. And for those expecting the ride to maybe be kept in storage or preserved, it doesn't really look that way, as many parts appear to be scrapped or even put in a dumpster. It's clear the fate for this coaster is being scrapped. I mean, this was expected because if you don't know, La Vibra was the last of its kind. The Intamin bobsled coaster model was a pretty unique one, but they tended to not last very long, and with only a handful left in the entire world, the second to last to close happened last year with the closure of the one in Great Escape, meaning La Vibra's time was running out fast, and as expected, it's now gone, and the very last Intamin bobsled is getting scrapped right in front of our eyes. If you're wondering why it closed, obviously it's for the new coaster, but on a deeper level, it was service life. With number creations like these, when the parts run out or break down, it's kind of over, hence why there's no way this ride could have been saved. Now, could have been a better way to send this coaster off? Absolutely. I mean, to this day, Over Texas themselves still haven't made a public announcement of this ride's closure. In fact, not even Six Flags. Leading up to this, all we saw were some markers, the ride closed down like normal, and suddenly a fence went up for demolition. If you didn't see the news of a new coaster coming, many would have probably been super confused as to why this coaster is getting destroyed. And I bet some still are. La Vibra and El Diablo closed without warning, meaning no final rides, no send-off, no nothing. And I really wish they would have, as this is a pretty historic coaster and played a huge role for many thrill seekers working themselves up to bigger attractions. But anyways, back to the update. Like I said, the coaster is missing lots of pieces. From the inside of the park you can see even more, as all signage has been removed, and there's even work going on in the station, dismantling it piece by piece. As you can see, the fencing that used to be there is now gone, and replaced with construction tape. It appears the station will probably not last, and I could expect the entire area to be flattened down. If this is the case, we may have a potential idea as to where this coaster could go, and it's entirely a new entrance, which I will talk about in the prediction section later. Moving on a little bit to the right, we have El Diablo. Now surprisingly, the loop is still standing, and it seems to appear they're taking their sweet time with dismantling this ride, which is pretty surprising as it is a carnival attraction, and it's pretty easy to take down a Larson Loop. When I was taking footage, I noticed they were doing something inside the queue line, as a worker was there tearing up the boards, it appears. The cars are still on the track, but it is missing the operational booth, and all of its pieces. This could be foreshadowing a potential theory I have, With all the construction updates out of the way, let's talk about the theories. While construction updates may seem unnecessary to some, as usually you just expect for the new coaster to be built, they're actually really helpful in predicting the potential layout of the new coaster and also see more signs of progress. All we know about this coaster at the moment is that it's a record-breaking dive coaster and it's opening in 2026, which is not a lot. We still don't know its theme, its layout, or anything else, but luckily the current progress going on may help us pinpoint certain aspects of this brand new coaster. But starting with the first interesting thing is El Diablo's demolition. This is not about the coaster per se, but about the potential fate of El Diablo. If you remember, this attraction opened in 2019, which means it's only been operational for 5 years before they're going to scrap it. It doesn't make sense. Now of course, it had its problems and had lots of issues, but I don't think it warrants a complete removal, especially after losing essentially 3 rides. Harley Quinn in the Gotham City section, now El Diablo and La Vibra. Only for one new coaster? I don't know. They could go the simple route and transfer the Lost and Loop train to another park for their Lost and Loop and just scrap their attraction. Or, and here's my theory, El Diablo will be saved. Like I said, it was a technical nightmare, but now with it being dismantled, they can work on it better and make it more functional, potentially bringing it back in a new section of the park. To be fair, Lost Loops are still pretty fun, even if they're cloned around a lot, and it helped with the overall park capacity. I think that maybe, just maybe, El Diablo could be saved and put into the Gotham City section of the park. After all, we just lost Harley Quinn, there's just enough space for a brand new flat ride, and that area needs some work, as it's been like that for a long time now. It's essentially a brand new dead zone for over Texas, with the only thing back there being Joker, if it's even open. And during Fright Fest Day, you do use the area a little bit, but not enough to make it worth it. If we're thinking about 2025 specifically, we generally won't receive nothing for over Texas. The only thing new is across the freeway at Hurricane Harbor with a brand new kids area. But the park itself will receive nothing, just the ongoing construction of this brand new coaster. Which is fine, because I mean, we're actually getting a brand new ride, which we desperately needed. I can wait a full year. But if we're the company, we want to find a way to get people to over Texas this year in 2025, and we have nothing to offer except seasonal events and Hurricane Harbor. What if in a mild way to introduce a brand new ride for the park, El Diablo gets moved to the Gotham City section, re-themed and reopened, with also a refreshed section of the park, fixing that back area of Gotham City. The biggest idea many have had, including me, is connect that back area to Gotham City, where Batman and Mr. Freeze is. I mean, I can't lie, over Texas' layout's pretty confusing. Lots of dead ends, lots of hidden entrances. For Gotham City specifically, you walk all the way in the back for Joker and Riddler, and reach a dead end. On the other hand, if you go to Batman and Mr. Freeze, you walk there and reach a dead end again. So why not make it a complete circle, fixing this issue, and also adding a brand new ride, technically, for 2025. If they do this, I could see a theme to Harley Quinn, because why not go 3 for 3? And the attraction is red and black already. All we need to do is add some little diamonds to it to make it look like a circus or clown. And also it's next to Joker, so it makes sense. But again, that's a theory. And potentially El Diablo could just be scrapped. It's only a matter of time. We just gotta wait and see. As for La Vibra, yeah, it's definitely gone. But the second important thing from this construction update is the removal of the station. Like I said, they're taking little pieces out of it. And if for some reason they take out the whole thing and flatten this entire land, I definitely see a brand new setup coming to the Spain area. What I've been hoping is that this dive coaster definitely ends up facing the park, adding for a great view. Many predicted the dive coaster will go into the parking lot and dive there, but I really don't want that as we already have a lot of parking lot coasters. With the dive, its biggest aspect is that first drop, and you want to have a great view. My prediction is that this coaster will end up having a station a little bit further back to where the extended layout of La Vibra was, which also explains why they're taking out El Diablo as well, with that being the spot for the implement of the dive. As almost every dive has this. If you think about it, it just makes sense. You have a brand new great photogenic spot, an amazing view on the ride, and potentially more space for more inversions. And if they want to use the parking lot or picnic area, they totally can for the extended layout of the dive after the drop. But once again, this will only be confirmed once we see the complete demolishing of the entire station, which at the moment seems very likely. But taking a step back, it is still very sad to see La Vibra in this state. It's kind of unreal seeing it in pieces, as I've been going to over Texas for a pretty long time, and I've always seen it going into the park, and now nothing is there. While there are lots of questions about this brand new coaster and everything about it, there is one thing we do know. The skyline of Six Flags Over Texas will never be the same again. It'll look different walking into the park, and if it is a Giga Dive coaster, which is a pretty high chance, driving past over Texas, we'll see a huge new looming coaster in the back of the park, which is really insane to think about. At the moment, this is all we have, and I will be keeping you updated on more construction updates for this new coaster. If you want to be the first in the know of this new Giga Dive, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, as I will be covering it thoroughly from now all the way to the opening, now becoming the #1 source for this new coaster coming to Six Flags Over Texas. If you have any more questions or any theories, I want to see your comments down below. Regardless, thank you for watching, and this is JB Thrills signing out.